Evening YouTube. Now I've just got home from work and I thought I'd do a little video just to show you what will be coming to the channel soon, what my latest project is. And it is that receiver there sitting on the table, the one sitting on its own, the black and silver one. And that is a vintage Akai AA-6300. Now that is from 1970, and according to Hifi engine, it is 40 watts per channel into 8 ohms. And I got that one as a present from my missus for Valentine's Day. So she got me this, and I really was happy when I unwrapped my Valentine's gift and see that it was a nice big massive vintage Akai. Yeah, I really like it. Because last year I got a pair of trainers off her, but this year I got a lovely Akai, which, let's be honest, this Akai is much better than a pair of trainers. So even though they was really nice trainers and I was really happy with them, there is just no way that getting trainers can compete with getting a vintage Akai receiver. So she done really well finding this one for me, and she found this one on Facebook. So it was for sale on Facebook, this one, and she messaged the seller and went and collected it. And she said it wasn't that far away, it was only about 5 miles from where we live, so it was quite local to us, this Akai. So she found it, messaged the seller, and then went, see it, bought it and collected it. And then she has brought it home and she wrapped it up in nice wrapping paper and then left it on the table for me while I was out on Valentine's morning. So it was a nice surprise when I got home and found this Akai sitting on the table. And it was a good morning, Valentine's morning, because me and James had been out to look at the Rogers LS55 speakers, which I did buy because they are in fantastic condition. They have got one tweeter that doesn't work, but the speakers are in excellent condition. So I just bought them and I was already happy because I'd just bought a set of Rogers speakers. And then when I got home I found this Akai sitting on the table here. So I had rather a good Valentine's morning. So as you can see, it has got 2 knobs missing off it, the tuning knob and the volume knob. And all the knobs on the front of this Akai, they all feel pretty seized up, like this amplifier has not been used for a very long time. That's how it feels. Everything, when I first got it, it was really hard to move some of the switches. This selector here, it goes forward okay, but it does not like turning backwards. It is really stiff, so hopefully a bit of deoxit will sort that out when I do it. And these switches here, they was all really stiff, but after I'd moved them a few times, you could feel they had loosened up a little bit. Apart from this end one, that is still really stiff to push down. Same with this selector, it's just quite hard to move. So I would say that this receiver really hasn't been used for a long time, and it has got a little bit of damage there on the corner. Looks like something's had a little chew on it there. But other than that, and the knobs missing, it does look in really good condition, this Akai. And the person my missus got this off did say it hasn't been used for about 5 years. They said it was working fine and then one day it just stopped working. So that was it. It's never been looked at since or never been touched. But I'd say the way all them buttons felt stiff and them pots and that, I'd say it's more like 10 years, not 5. So this one is another one. It doesn't power up or do anything because the seller said it was all working good, and then one day it just wouldn't turn on. It wouldn't do anything. So they went straight out and bought an AV receiver and didn't bother with 2-channel anymore. So I've just put the camera onto the tripod and I'll turn the Akai round and show you the back. And it is in nice condition, all the back of this Akai. It is very dirty and dusty, so you can tell it hasn't been used for a long time. But there is no damage on the back of this one. It all looks good and it all looks complete. So it has got the 2 AC outlet sockets there, and it's got a voltage changer with the fuse in the centre, and then it will take 2 sets of speakers, one set on the little screw-in terminals and the other set going them big jack plugs. So you've got a 5-pin DIN tape deck connection there. It's got a nice big heavy duty lead on it, but it hasn't got a plug on it. And then connections for another tape deck, auxiliary and a phono connection. And then the bits to connect up an aerial to it on the end. So it's got all the usual connections going on the back of this Akai. Apart from them big jack plugs for the speakers, that is a bit strange because you don't really see that much on receivers from this time period. Well, not on stuff that's designed for the home. You do see that plug a lot on like studio gear or stuff for professional use, but not so much on home hi-fi equipment. So I'm just showing you through the vent there. I'm not sure if you can see in there, but to me it looks very dirty in there. So this one will need opening up and giving a good clean. But you can see the wooden cabinet on it is in really nice condition. There's a few little nibbles along the back, but apart from that, this old wooden cabinet looks in really nice condition. And I do know that although my missus bought this for me for Valentine's Day, she has also bought this a bit for herself, because it was one of these old Akais that got my missus into vintage hi-fi. This was like the first ever vintage receiver that she used to use and had dealings with. So it was one of these old Akais that introduced my missus to the lovely tones of vintage audio. Because when we first got together, she had like a little MIDI system. Now it was nice looking, it had all the bells and whistles on it, but it didn't sound very good. She thought it sounded good, but trust me, it didn't sound good. So I didn't like listening to it. So I said to her that I would bring round one of my receivers and leave it at hers, and then when I came over we would have something decent to listen to. And at the time when I said that, it did not go down very well. She got the hump because she thought that her little mini system sounded really good, but it really didn't. It sounded terrible and I really couldn't listen to it. So I took round one of these Akais, but it wasn't this exact model. The one I took round there was an AA-6300, whereas this one is a AA-6300. And when I done the unwrapping video on the other channel on the day I got this Akai, I kind of said things a bit wrong on that video, but I have looked things up since then. I just assumed that the 6600 would be more powerful than the 6300, but according to Hi-Fi Engine, it isn't. According to Hi-Fi Engine, this 6300 is 40 watts per channel, and the 6600 is only 37 watts per channel. So I don't know if that's right or not, because it does seem a bit strange that the lower number one is the more powerful one, but that is what it says on Hi-Fi Engine. So I'll just get my tape measure and I'll show you how big this old Akai is. So you can see there, that is 17.5 inches wide or 44.5 centimetres. So it is pretty big, this one. And the height of it is 6 inches high or about 15 centimetres. But it has got quite big feet on this Akai. And the depth of it is pretty deep, this one. Like you can see there, it is like 13 inches deep, or just under 13 inches, about 32.5 centimetres. So it is quite a big old beast, this Akai, and it is quite heavy, this Akai as well. It has got a fair bit of weight to it, so it should have some nice quality parts inside it, this one, because of how heavy it is. So I'll just put the camera back on the tripod for a minute and I'll give you a bit of a better size comparison on this one. I'll put the Pioneer SX434 on top of it. And as you can see, this Akai is a little bit bigger than the Pioneer. Not by much, but it is a little tiny bit bigger. And this Pioneer is not a small receiver, it's quite a big receiver, this Pioneer. So that just shows you how big this Akai is. It is a really nice size big receiver. Now I know it's not a big massive monster receiver, but it is big compared to most receivers from 1970. And I have had a look on the computer for the two knobs that are missing off it, but I couldn't find any. I do think they might be quite hard to get hold of, them knobs, and they are bigger than the ones that are on it. They are like a bigger diameter, the two that are missing. But if I can find them two missing knobs and clean this receiver right up, I do think this is going to be a good looking receiver, this one, because it is in pretty good condition. It is much nicer than the one I had years ago, because that was really battered and the wooden case on it was really knackered. But it did used to sound really good, that old one we had. So hopefully if I can get this one working, it will sound as good as that old one we used to have, because it was a really nice sounding receiver and it sounded a hell of a lot better than that terrible sounding little mini system that she used to have. And if I remember rightly, the one we had years ago, it had a really nice bit of bass to it. It had really deep, smooth bass. So the bass on it was sort of the best thing about it. So hopefully this one will have that nice bass as well, because it really did have some good bass, that old Akai we used to have. And it was pretty powerful. It used to drive whatever speakers you put on it, no problem whatsoever. So this one should be even better than that one, really, because according to Hi-Fi Engine, this one has got 3 watts more. So I'm really looking forward to opening this one up on the channel and going right through it and seeing if I can get it working. Because it might be an easy fix, this Akai. It might not. It might have something seriously wrong with it. But we won't know that until I have a good look through it. And I hope I can get it working, because it's been years since I've listened to one of these Akais, and it'd be good to hear one back in action. And my missus is looking forward to getting this one working as well, because she said to me the other night, if you get that Akai working, can you set it up in the lounge so I can use it? So that says it all, really. So the fact that she bought this for me for Valentine's Day was really just an excuse for her to buy it. And actually she has bought this lovely old Akai for herself. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.